did want to mention, if you would rather not do this kind of coercion, so as time zone, you can actually just drop the NS in front of here. So NS time zone will be abbreviation EST, and then it'll understand that it's a time zone object. And we can do that the same with our calendar as well. So basically it's up to you, however you would prefer to do it. Either way, it's going to achieve the same thing, but just a quick fix to kind of be more clear. It's not really going to change anything, but if we were to run this in the simulator, this would run just as well. So just to verify, let's take a quick look at that. Okay, build succeeded. And then we don't have to do our type coercion there. Okay, there it goes. And test it out. Yep, so it's just still showing Eastern Standard Time, and it's still allowing us to update the calendar. So it just allows us to be a little bit less verbose in our code, which in my opinion is always a good thing. Next, let's add in another button so that we can switch back and forth between two calendars. And so let's go to our editor here. And so I'm going to bring in our objects library. I'm going to bring in another button. So here we go, add it down below. And we'll just make sure that we change the alignment here. Let's see. There we go. So it's kind of stacked one on top of the other. And let's see. So let's call this one change. And this one, you know what? No. So this first one will be the Buddhist calendar. And this bottom one, let's see. Let's put, I don't know, Hebrew to see what the Hebrew calendar will look like. Okay, and then everything else can kind of stay as is. And let's go to our assistant editor. So what happens when we click on the Buddhist button? We want to set it to the Buddhist calendar. So let me fix this, and I'll fix the spacing as well. And let's get rid of the NS designation here. Okay, there we go. And what we will do is for this one, we'll switch it, of course, to the Buddhist calendar. Okay, and then we will just add another button or another action for this button down here. So control, bring that guy over down below, make it an action, and we'll say action. My other button, again, not a really good naming convention, but for our purposes, it'll work. Okay, and I'm going to get rid of this constant. We're not going to be using that. And down here, we will say let Hebrew calendar equals calendar type identifier. Let's say calendar dot identifier dot Hebrew. There we go. Okay, and then we will say outlet my date dot set calendar. Yeah, set calendar to Hebrew calendar. Okay, so now we have two buttons that do different things. Let's try it out. So we'll hit Command R to open up the simulator, and this should be interesting. See what these different calendars look like. And we'll wait for this to load. And even if the Hebrew calendar is longer, it should shrink down to fit down to 0.5 of the original size. Okay, there it goes. And let's try it. So tap on Buddhist calendar. There we go. Tap Hebrew. Cool. So we can kind of switch back and forth like so. And if you didn't want to set the time zone, of course, it's just going to default to whatever the user's time zone is. In our case, it's always going to be relative to whatever our time zone is in terms of EST. So Hebrew, Buddhist, Hebrew, Buddhist. Cool. So next, let's refactor our code a little bit so that it's kind of easier to understand what it's doing, and we can make it more modular. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my constants kind of outside of these functions so that we can just declare them up above. And that's going to make it easier if we ever need to update them or change them. and it's going to make our functions more clear in terms of what exactly they're doing. So rather than setting constants, they're just going to be responsible for giving behavior, for example. So we're going to move this one and put these kind of next to each other, fix that spacing. And this one as well, we will move immediately up above. Okay, there we go. And move that over one more actually. Okay, so that's a lot better. Now our functions are pretty clear in what they're doing, as well as where we're setting our outlet properties like color and time zone.